Hi, in this session, we will discuss about the asynchronous DR configuration in Google Cloud environment, which will provide a low RPO and RTO configurations. So, disaster recovery, as you all know, this is basically a failover mechanism from primary site to the backup site whenever there is some issues or a natural calamity or some related issues happen in the primary site or a particular maintenance need to be done, you can fall back to the backup site. So, considering in a Google Cloud architecture, uh, the advantage is that you can choose different zones, different regions, and provide very redundant uh, DR architecture. So, considering one of this scenario, you have to let's compare some of the features. So, the physical disk async replication and backup and DR service, that's a uh, kind of advanced dashboard provided by Google itself. So comparing both these methods, you can see I'm basically considering the RPO and RTO. So the PD async don't have a management environment or a management dashboard, but it will be very quick to configure and test or fall back to the disaster recovery environment. So there is use case, application type, data consistency, and complexity, cost focus. All I have listed here. So considering this based on your production deployment application, how much revenue it provides, or is it require a more redundant or capabilities? You should choose which one you how to go with. For this particular scenario, we will be discussing completely on the physical disk asynchronous replication for a different zone based configuration. So let's take a look on the architecture side. So there is region A and zone A, and region I will choose the A itself, but zone will be X. So I have it's connected to a cloud networking that's behind the scenes, and you can see the region and zone what's are available for this uh, backup operation or DR operations available. So we are only discussing asynchronous disaster recovery configuration here. So let's start with this one. I have created a new project, and in this particular project, let's jump and enable the compute engine. So we will be working on this compute engine configuration. So this is very fast for database replication, as this is a block-based configuration. Like block-based replication is happening here. So we will start with a VPC creation, and we'll name the subnet under VPC. We will choose a network range of 10, 10, 10. We'll choose the region as Asia, Mumbai, and the network address is 10, 10, 10, and 0. So this is the primary side. It doesn't need to be the same on the secondary side. Otherwise, you have to create a secondary VPC and attach to the secondary system. This particular configuration doesn't have much role with the replication process. That async replication is handled by GCP only. So let me jump into configure a machine. I will be choosing Alma Linux. Nothing, just like as it's a demo, and which have a very low footprint. Yeah, it's 10 GB only. And I'll select that interface in VPC here. And we will be using a public IP. So once machine is up, we will configure a web server. We have to allow the web SSH IP in the firewall role. That's I have already covered in the previous video. So just install. It's a DNF based system. That's my bad actually. So I will switch as root user and install the Nginx web server. I've been a Apache fan for a long time, but I don't know when I switched to the Nginx thing. And I'm starting. So I have already configured the web traffic inbound the firewall. So this is icon hasip. You can simply get your public IP. It's a useful tool. Yeah, that's the same IP address and it's loading. So I have used this console in the profile itself and executed the command. This is for creating the disk only. So you can see this is created and that is active. And I will quickly. There is basically two ways. One is to copy the host, primary host disk into the remote location and start the synchronization. I'm just replacing and testing this. Yep. So we will test a failover scenario here. At this point, my primary site is having a different web page, and let's create another subnet. I'm creating another subnet because I just wanted to place my second host in a different region. We will choose Delhi this time. And the IP address will be like 10.10.11.0. Yeah, that's it. And let's jump to turning off the replication process. I think I'm a little fast here, but you can pause the command window and carefully check what exactly I am performing there. So you can see the primary and secondary stopped completely, the synchronization. So once this is detached, you cannot resume the synchronization. How to start freshly. I'm creating my second instance here. That should be in Delhi. So when starting the replication, I have actually selected the zone as Delhi region. And here I am choosing an existing disk. And the network will allow HTTP traffic. And yeah, it will be automatically select as that's the only available VPC network and subnet available in this particular zone. So you can see the booting process was very quick at this point. Let's establish a SSH connection, and I will. This is the asynchronous cloned disk. Actually, we are performing activity, and I'm typing the second site. Both are loading fine. I know a little fast, but I'm trying to reduce my video length as well. You can pause at any point and clearly look at the procedure, what exactly I have done. So I will initiate a second sync, like creating disk. At this point, I have created a disk. Now I have to start the synchronization command, asynchronize dir command. So I am starting to the newly created disk. And you can see there will be 3 disks available. The first and third one are in active synchronization. The middle one that's we already detached and which is attached to the second system. So I will directly attach this disk. Before that, let's update the index with the time configuration. Yeah, this is the current time. Yeah, you can see what I will do. This is the previous session. I have in between. I have stopped my second VM creator. So I will reconfigure my second VM. Select and edit that. There is a boot disk option. It doesn't matter if it's a boot disk or any other kind of system disk. And yeah, you have to scroll a little more down. There, yeah, detach boot disk. Then configure a boot disk, it says, and existing one. How to choose the second disk. And so the second disk is not available, as you have to stop the replication. Yeah, now the replication is stopped. And yeah, the second disk is the same. Sorry, I have just stopped the replication. And yeah, it's configured and just starting. So there is no much delay in reconfiguring all these items. You can see, yeah, that system is started, but I think Nginx service is not yet started. So let's SSH and start the Nginx server. This is the new machine, and you can see the 34 series IP. Just refresh, yeah. Sending with 130 and the time is this one. So just before ending this session, you can choose between the zones and region here. So something like I'm using the zone in India itself, but if you wanted to connect to any other uh, regions or like Singapore or anywhere in the Asian region, you have to reconfigure the command. There is a minimum requirement that you have to use 200 GB disk if you are using regional configuration. So that's today's video, and thank you for watching. Please provide feedback for better video.